Right, hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome. Welcome back if you have. I'm just going to go right into a little flow. So my intention is unity and oneness and the highest levels of love, light, sovereignty. I just did a little energy update. This will probably have some toning and some light language. So some of this is just meant to be felt. A little energy exchange. Should move this back just a little bit, just in case there's hand signals that come through that might be better. There we go. Create some more space. There's a hunger now being experienced in the collective, and many are experiencing this as a hunger for truth, for knowledge, for the idea and concept that has long been thrown to the wayside. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. For we are we not, beings that wish to be real with one another. I'm seeing Pinocchio. For as the truth beams out from our heart space, a sense of justice, a sense of justification, a sense of overwhelming just as is, no longer is holding a truth for us. For we find there is a grating, so to speak, nails on the chalkboard, a grating that is going on, a gradient, a grating, aggravating, I'm hearing like an assault of the senses. So this is more for those who are kind of going down those truth rabbit holes right now. Excuse my sniffles. There is a certain uphill battle that seems to be a gradient, like going up on a grade. That is an assault against the senses, against our sensibility, against our sense of truth, our sense of dignity, our sense of integrity. And many of us may find it challenging to balance within this assault of the senses. Yet we are recognizing that as we see within a new framework, within a new reference point, as we see within a new age, a new age, a new age, a nuance, I'm having a lot of plays on words right now. There become many realities that expose themselves, that show up for us in our own reality, insert themselves in, so to speak. And during this insertion, we feel that there is an insertion, a network. An incoming spike. All right. So if I were writing this out, which maybe I should, I would be spelling this out in many different ways. So nuance would be nuance, and I would see the anthill that I was referring to. The spike, I would see a spike in the heart, and much like you would kill a vampire with, you spike the heart in the old movies. And I'm seeing a spike, like somebody put something in our beverage. Like, wait a minute, this is not, so I'm seeing like this reference, this spike in energy, this spike in knowledge, this spike in knowingness. And I'm hearing the song by Tom Petty, I Won't Back Down. Oh, I won't back down. There is no going back. There is no going back to where it was before, because before has already expired. It has outdone itself. We have outdone it. We have come undone. All that was done to us from one perspective, or so to speak, is now being revealed, recognized, and all that was sealed up is being unsealed, so to speak. For as these revelations come into our reality, the complexity of how deep these caves are caving in, are going in, these caverns, so to speak, that are caverning, we are traversing through right now, are being intercepted, are being recepted. We are receptive to them. Our interceptibility is lessened, and our acceptability, our accessibility is heightened. For as we research, as we search within, as we search through all that is being laid out before us, we are able to expand into a higher concentration, a method of concentration. For we are stronger now than we were before. For knowledge is power. For when one is kept in the dark, or keeping that which holds back knowledge in the dark, one is lessening their senses, their sensibility, their ability to sense that which is right in front of them. And this is also play on words, like right or wrong. So it's right in front of us. It's either right or it's wrong. And we can't sense which one it is, because we've been kept in the dark about the truth, and the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Only a certain amount of truth has been exposed, and we're starting to, I keep hearing this reference to I smell a rat. Like, we're starting to smell things out and sense when things are not all that they seem to be. I'm hearing things have been ratatouilleed, like stirred up. I had a whole flow on this. I don't know if I've posted it yet. I think I might have on Instagram. Like a code. We invite you to stabilize your fields, for more is coming. For as I'm laughing because when I say more is coming, I had posted something on Instagram like a month or so back, and it was something that somebody had posted. It said Splinter is coming, and it's the rat from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I went into this whole flow about Ratatouille, and I smell a rat, and Splinter. I'm being guided to talk about this, so bear with me. The rat, I think Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles became the way he was because of like some kind of nuclear, like radioactivity. So this is all connected, by the way. We play with these words and with this lingo to give you a visualization of how silly this can seem sometimes. Yet it is truth. For much of the truth has been distilled, has been, I'm seeing like a distillery where it's been distilled and repackaged and then rebottled and labeled as something else. And so I'm also seeing this as symbolic, as some things that are about to be revealed. There are so many layers and so many versions of realities that are in the process of converging, of collapsing, of conmerging. commingling. It becomes difficult to really express in a linear terminology what it is that is being accessed right now. For you are multidimensional beings accessing into a fuller perspective, a fuller field, if you will. For you have graduated, and the gradient that you are in the process of traversing up, traversing through, traversing out of, is shining with radiant energy. For as you access this potential, you are the potentiality of the reality that you are projecting. For as you project into this and escape from linear reality, this is a big play on words, so linearity, linear reality, as you escape from, again, a reference to Alcatraz. I've had several references to Alcatraz, and this is multidimensional, multi-layered. It doesn't just mean escaping from prison. There's also a reference to Alcatraz, but that's not for this particular message. We invite you to recognize that as you escape from the prison, from this prism, so to speak, that you have been harnessed within, we invite you to recognize that you are now harnessing new ways of reality, going into a new phase of development, into a new phase conjugate. I'm learning all these words, you guys. I really invite you to check out Dan Winters. I mean, I speak words and I don't always know what they mean, and then I go and look at his website and I'm like, oh, that's what that means. And then I don't necessarily retain it, but I get it. So phase conjugate, I believe, is like a long wave. It's like heart coherence. It's basically the real golden frequency, from my understanding. And as you allow yourselves to joint into this new joining of, I'm hearing lineages, databases, truths, reality structures, recognizing the beauty in each person's development, in each person's, I'm seeing like people coming together, like science coming together and mathematics coming together. And rather than this whole concept of, well, this person gets to get this first because they want to win the Nobel Prize, it's like they're saying, be more noble. Recognize that the noble gases work together. They do not work against each other. There is a nobility pattern, a Nobel pattern that has been rung out. They're showing me like we're in the process of ringing the real bell, which also has to do with phase conjugation, not ringing it out and blocking it from the truth ringing true. For as you step into this new exploratory field, as you start to recognize and feel your way into the exploration that is laid out in front of you, as you start to recognize the tracks that have been laid down, and recognize that you are truly attracting to you what it is that you are creating. This is kind of a play on words. So I'll get back to that maybe in just a minute. We invite you to let go of speculations of what if this does not work, or what if this person does this or that. We invite you to take a step back and go within and ask yourself questions such as, what do I need to visualize? What do I need to be becoming in the coming months in order to fully project that which I am, in order to fully activate that which I have the potential of becoming, that which is already in the works, in a work in progress. A processing of interstellar dynamics has taken place. We invite you to play within these new energies, to step out of the matrix, to step out of the glue that holds together an old information in conformation. So I'm seeing like you don't need confirmation from an old energy that was forcing you to conform to that belief system and structure. We invite you to step out of conformity. We invite you to harness and anchor your higher frequency establishments that are in the process of becoming real, of blooming. They're showing me the Titanic and icebergs. So, sinking. Do not go down with the ship. Your capacity for stepping outside of linearity is stronger than you realize. Let go of the concept that you must be within a certain time frame, a certain network of confusion, for that is what has been in your field, confusion. There was much that was mixed into your batter for your recipe that was snuck in, so to speak. We're in the process of snuffing it out, sniffing it out, allowing it to be, again, I'm seeing reference to I smell a rat, recognizing that those old recipes harness energy that was damaging to the mitochondria of your cellular knowingness. All right, so I just went multidimensional here. I'm seeing a reference to the food that we've been eating, a reference to the electronics that we're using, a reference to the cellular structure, mitochondria. This has reference to our communication devices, not just our phones, but beyond that. There must be a new mathematical system that allows us to collaborate, that allows us to, commemorate that which we already know. For within us, we have a deeper technology. A deeper sense of self-worth must be established so that our worthiness ripples out into the field of worldliness. For we cannot base our worldliness on an outside world that we are creating from within. For if we are looking outside of us to create a world to bring harmony within, we are going in the wrong direction. This was the old way. And this has been laid out. This is a play on words, like when you knock somebody out, you lay them out, they're laid out. Like it's done. The old establishments are still reeling from the realness of this, from the reality that the existence in which all of their systems were mapped out are no longer accessible in the same way. They are no longer, I'm hearing they're mathed out, like they've run out of room. The mathematics don't add up. So I'm just going to go back into, I'm seeing a lot of pictures. So I'm seeing like they're knocked out, but they're like, I'm fine, I can win this still. Yet there can be tools. There are parts that can be used from the junkyard, so to speak. For we are to recognize that what is perceived as junk is merely placed within the trunk. Oh, this is funny. Junk in the trunk. I'm hearing like the treasure trunk. So I'm seeing like a trunk, a vehicle, part of the car. It was placed in the back to be saved for a later time, but it's been there the whole time and it can be utilized for scraps. I'm hearing scraps. Do not scrap that which can be utilized. So they're showing me like scrap metals. Don't get into a fight over the scraps. there's plenty to go around. I'm seeing that even though some of these old systems that we had put so much value in really are not the best for us, we can still take and if we can see it from a more multidimensional perspective and step out of. So what they're showing me is a lot of the old creations, whether it be satellites, whether it be communications, whether it be mathematics and our system of geometry, like they're showing me that a lot of the teachings, let's say that we thought Newtonian physics was the only way to go until Einstein came along. It's the same idea. We thought Einstein was it, the end all, know all, be all, but he didn't know everything either. And we've built so much, and also history has rewritten itself. So we've built so much on not the whole truth. The whole truth, but nothing but the truth. So what they're sharing is that not the whole we haven't had the whole truth. So rather than keep ignoring the fact that we're building something that can't get us to where we need to go based off of that old mathematical equation. We're being invited to just scrap it, utilize what we can from it, work together. Just because someone doesn't have all the answers, if we work together with someone else who might have some of the answers, it'll bring us into a faster trajectory than if we just sit here and pretend like it's working when it's not. We as a human species were meant to use that DNA. We as a human species were meant to come into a higher methodology, a higher way of being, a higher wave of beings. For we are multidimensionally connected to all beings. And I'm hearing, may all beings be happy and free. We can no longer hold back and play in the junkyard. For we are not scraps. We are not leftovers. We are not left behind. We must, however, leave behind that which no longer serves us as a collective, as a whole. We must come together in wholeness, in union, in humanity. We can no longer place value on systems that are merely interacting in a physicality that I'm seeing like the physicality doesn't even understand. They didn't even understand what they were doing, yet we've built our whole reality system based off of lineages that didn't know the whole story, stories that didn't share the whole story, equations that missed a couple of numbers. But then I keep hearing Jack Johnson, they staple it together and call it bad weather. For as a humanity, we have grown. We are continuing to grow. We have outgrown our parents. Children, you are the parents. Teach your children that which will nourish the inner child. We must support the children within. It is time to let go of these lineages of ancient ones that are only harnessing control, contrology, contrology. And I'm not talking about Pilates here. We must allow the natural flow and rhythm and cycles of life in an organic versus inorganic. We must come into ourselves as an organism that is in a natural yet exponential expansion field. For we have grown into, I'm seeing things and I just don't know how to describe it. It's like we've grown up, many of us, and we're playing in the same, we can't play in the same sandbox. Like I'm seeing like the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, playing in a sandbox. Like, we're not a kid in a sandbox anymore. We've blown up, we've imploded, right? Many of us are coming to that space of like balancing it out, and we've outgrown our sandbox. Okay, and I'm not talking about Earth. They're showing me like, what we're talking about right now is our old playground. Like, we need to recognize that we're not in separate sandboxes. The Earth is evolving, and we have already, we've got so much that we're just tapping into that our old system cannot keep up with us. So it must be shifted. And what they're showing me is, it cannot be shifted on the truths that we've been taught. We have to hone in on our living architecture. Like, that's so many different versions. Again, watch Dan Winters. I just looked up a video about living architecture. I didn't realize what he was referring to. I'm talking about the human body, but also recognizing that how we live cannot be this dead technology. So if we're plugging into a system that isn't open sourced, and it's only like feeding itself, again, it's like service to self or service to others or service to the all, right? So we're recognizing that this old stuff doesn't work anymore. We are being I'm hearing like lead paint. Like, we used to think that paint was fine with lead in it until we were like, oops. So lead doesn't work. Get the lead out. And then I'm hearing, don't be led astray. We are being invited not to be led astray by the old fray, the old orchestra that is working on playing old songs because they refuse to step out of the old system. This is no longer able to hold our attention. Once we tap into our higher attention span, our higher expansiveness, how much and how broad can we span out from within? And they're not talking about getting off of Earth. This happens here on Earth together, and we can connect everything that we want to through our human potential, from what I'm being shown. So we're waking up to that. We're starting to realize, hey, wait a minute. A lot of people are telepathic. Hey, wait a minute. A lot of people are tapping into a higher knowing. Well, where did this information come from? It is a mass consciousness awakening, evolution, all at once. And it's what I'm being shown is it's so quantum, it's so big on so many levels, on so many scales, there are no words for it, in my vocabulary at least. We invite you to tune in to the new harmonics that New Earth is offering, for she calls to you. She calls to you. She calls through you, for you are part of her. You are always connected, for you are born of this lineage, so to speak. You are born as earth beings. Therefore, you carry within you the codes that are required, that she is required to carry. So I'm seeing like it's something that we carry that we are then utilizing as keys to activate. And I'm hearing, quit trying to run away from who we are. Like I'm seeing, don't worry about this. Feel into it. Allow yourselves to unfold like flowers. Allow yourself to feel the petals open wide. For as you, they're showing me a bicycle, like as you push the pedals, you will move the wheels, and all that can and will evolve, so to speak, will then open up the portals that are necessary to anchor in the higher geomantics. geometries. All of this is anchoring in, and we are essentially activating this. I'm being shown a huge stargate, like a huge portal, just completely opening. And I'm being shown, I've got goosebumps, all of the human beings on earth, all of the gatekeepers, all of the grid workers, all of the awakened ones, or even those that are in their heart and hold that focused intention of love, compassion, joy, forgiveness, neutrality. I'm seeing them reach up and hold the hands of those that can't quite find it. And every time we do that, it lights, there's light, it's like little light bulbs going off all over. And as these light bulbs open, that stargate gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and more of Earth, so to speak, and this is just a tool, a visualization tool, can then squeeze through that stargate. And as I'm being shown this portal coming over the earth, and it's almost like it's resetting everything. Like Earth was, let's say, green and blue before, and then it's going to be vivid green and blue. And like, we'll look at each other and what we were seeing before, it's like having a black and white dream and then moving into full color. Or taking a picture and then hitting the vivid button. Like it's like coming over all of us, but we're doing this together. My guy's deciding to talk. So as we pass through, so to speak, this particular tone that we are currently sitting within, the higher we harmonize as a collective, the more that tone must rise to harmonize with us. So it's just like when we tune our instruments, when there's a band, or when there's tuners, musically, what they're sharing is that there's a harmonic that we're going through right now that's creating all of these different tones. But we are holding as light workers this higher tone, and all of this other stuff is then shifting to then come up and meet that tone. And then that assists in this light just pouring through us, around us, over us. And what I'm being shown is this Stargate portal opens. It's massive. And it literally is like taking us into a completely different space than what we've ever existed within before. And then I'm being shown that just kind of locks in and links up and creates a different spin in our earth. And it essentially allows us to then lock in with other places in space that we haven't been able to lock into before, because the harmonic was